Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's a trade of the day, Monday afternoon / evening Zoom edition. And I just had an alert go off on Solana. I would usually talk about the markets overall, but I want to check out this alert first. So let's go to the chart. And we should be on the Solana 15-minute chart. Is that what you guys are seeing?
Yes.
Thank you. So this is the RTI, the relative trend index. It's my current favorite indicator that I've been using to get into most of my trades. And what happened is it dipped below the 20 and then came back up and broke above. So on our support and resistance, we're using the supply and demand visible range by LuxAlgo. Both of these are available up here on the indicators, and type in and you can find out what they are and load them to your chart. This is a not financial advice, but this is a pretty good entry. It breaks down into the green zone, the support zone, and comes back up, breaks up on the RTI above the 20. If I bounce over to my 5-minute, I've got my confirmation indicator, which is the cumulative delta, showing me green, and so I like this entry. And I was in this trade earlier today. I'm going to see if I'm out of it yet. And refresh. I am out of it. I'm getting back in. So again, not financial advice, but I like this entry. And back to the 5-minute chart. It's not in a dip sequence that we would ordinarily use, but I do like that it's bounced off the green zone on the 15-minute chart, and I have this other information across on the RTI and the cumulative delta trending up. So I like that entry. So if you guys want to take that trade, knock yourself out. If you don't, that's okay too. All right, so let's go to what we usually do and look at the markets overall. And this is my Bitcoin day chart. You can see here we did break above 38, or we did break above 38K, but couldn't close above that. So we're in the 37s on Friday and Saturday, and then we lost that yesterday and today. Hovering around 37K. I didn't see anything that interesting in the news. I may have missed something. If you guys know of anything, let me know. But again, trend, it's towards the top of my zone here, which I was going to redo, but since it hasn't broken through with force yet, I'm going to leave it alone. Craig and I were talking on Friday, or actually Monday, I believe, about how I put these together, and I'll probably put my next zone up here in the 40s. And this, what was resistance, will be support. Hopefully I'll have an excuse to do that before the Friday Zoom. We'll see. But for now, we're just chilling around 37K on Bitcoin. On Ethereum, couldn't break this 2150 range. Tickled it a couple times the last week and a half or so. But again, trended back down, and now we're just trying to hold on to 2000. So that's what's going on with the markets overall. Anybody have some comments or questions about Bitcoin and Ethereum and the market overall? Very well. Let's go to Altcoin Alert and see if we can find some good entries. Okay, do you have some new folks on today? So you veterans, please be patient. Well, I'm going over some things a little more in detail than I usually do. Usually when you sign on to Altcoin Alert, you'll see this setup, but I want the radar setup. I want all the information and all the columns. I'm going to right click and reload. So I have the most current information. The first sort I like to do is the AA score. I'm looking for values 80 80 and higher. And what this tells me is that, let's say this Didix, for example, which is one I have starred and I like to trade, says an 80.4% chance to go up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. Now, I am primarily a day trader and I trade on leverage. So my trades are usually on 1 to 1.5%, either up or down, and at 10x leverage. So for me, that's going to be 10% to 15% profit on the trades I make. Now, for those of you who are new or newer, you're going to do spot trading on probably Coinbase or KuCoin or Kraken or something like that, crypto.com, something, fairly common. And you're going to look for maybe 3 to 5% moves. Those take a little longer, and it's just going to be going up. We're not going to be looking for trying to profit on coins that go down. We just want those to go up. And that's how we trade on spot. So I'll be talking about spot trading, and that's what I mean. That's going to be your basic Coinbase trading. And then if I talk about leverage trading, that's for myself and some of the older traders, more experienced traders who join this call. And hopefully the overlap will be beneficial to everybody. So with that being said, I'm on the AA score, and I mentioned Didix. That is one I set up this morning. I set up some alerts on my charts, and we will look at that right now. I've got the chart up. This is TradingView. If you don't have a TradingView account, you can get a free one. You can email me and I'll send you a link, or you can look at the pinned comment in the recorded version of this, and there's a link to it there. I think we both get a little kickback if you go that route. If you already have one, or you want to use someone else's, or just go to tradingview.com, that's okay too. And then you can see I've got, if you've never seen anything like this, it's probably a jumbled mess to you. I'll turn some of these off so it's a little clearer. The green lines here are Bollinger Bands. These help show the direction of the market. The middle line is called the SMA line. It stands for Simple Moving Average. And this is helpful for me to determine where the market's going and where it might go. The supply and demand visible range, a Lux Algo product I mentioned during my Solana overview, and that's telling me support and resistance on this time frame. I'm on the 15-minute chart. And then we'll discuss these other indicators shortly. The first chart I look at is usually the 5-minute. I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3 dip sequence. I'm not really seeing that. Again, if you're on my email list, you should have received the iCoinPro training about the 1, 2, 3 dip. It's usually an excellent dip and retrace way to trade on spot. Here's an example of one. We have a squeeze right here with the Bollinger Bands, and then they bubble out. Get 1, 2, 3, green candle, and then you get in. So, and usually we're looking to get back to the SMA line. You can also look at short-term resistance, see where these multiple touches right around this 344 area. The price is over on the right. So, but if we use the SMA line, we get out here at 2.35%. That happens right about here in about a little over 4 hours. 2.3% trade in 4 hours. That's a really good spot trade. If you pile these up, say 1 to 3 to 5%, do that a few times a day, your balance can grow pretty quickly. It's harder than it sounds, but it's doable. So that's the 5-minute chart. If you're new to this and you're kind of baffled by all these symbols and things on the chart, there's a little bit easier way to do this. You can just set an alert in this green zone. So if you click, say, towards the top of the green zone at 3:15, right click, add an alert, only once. And then for the alert name, I usually call it my information source. So this is AA score purchase. After you type this 5 or 10 times, it'll usually show up. So AA score purchase. And you go to notifications. I'm going to notify in my app on my phone, a pop up on my computer, and play a sound also on my computer. And which there's about 8 options. I like the 3 notes reverb. And that's how you set a price alert. So if it dips down to your price, reevaluate, see if you want to get in that trade. But that's not how I usually do my alerts. I like the 15-minute chart. And this is an alert I set from this morning on Didix. And it has come up from the 20 value on the RTI. Let's just go ahead and talk about this now since it just happened. The RTI relative trend index, I like it when it dips below and comes back up. That is frequently similar to a dip sequence on other charts. And then I'm going to look at my cumulative delta to see if that's a good entry. It just dipped back down below. My cumulative delta is just trending up slightly, printing a red candle at the moment. So I'm going to pass on this one. But trying to think of an example here where it came back up and it was a pretty good trade. Down here, this was on Saturday. It broke above here, but the delta didn't really support it. It broke above again right about here. And this was the change of the day. And then you get a couple green candles. So maybe this is profitable depending on where you get what your goal is. For me, that would have been that 1% on a chart I'm looking for at 10x leverage. But if you're looking to get to this red zone, say 2 or 3% on this particular trade, you'd still be in it. So it would have gone about 8 to 10% against you. And maybe you do an additional purchase or you're stopped out. But anyway, that's not a great example of 1, 2, 3 dip being shown by the RTI, but that is the kind of thing I'm usually looking for. Okay. So to set an alert on this, it's pretty easy. You're going to right click on the RTI. Actually, let me go over this again. So I'm looking for values that dip below and come back up, as I've said. On the short side, for those of you who are a little more experienced and trade on leverage, if something breaks above the 80 and then dips, that's something I'm looking to short. And then another option is when something breaks below the 80 with some force, like we have here, that's a good short option. And if it breaks above 80 or breaks below 20 with force, that's a good short option. If it breaks above 80 with force, that can be a good long option. Trying to see if we have that. Yeah, here's an example here. So on this one, on Thursday night, it broke above the 80. Got a couple of candles on the cumulative delta for confirmation. Probably get in right about here. I would have gotten my 1% pretty quickly, but if you stay in and keep watching this, and maybe it hits that red zone, which is usually indicative of resistance, you can get out there, or you can keep an eye on the RTI. As long as it's in this green bold area, that usually means it's got strength, cumulative delta supporting it. And it starts to fizzle out here when this is dipping down and this is turning red. Maybe you get out here, and that's a really good day trade. So that's a pretty good. That's a good example of the breaking above the 80 with some force. So for alerts breaking above the 80, right click on your RTI. You're going to select crossing up 80. Once per bar close, we'll keep it on until you turn it off. And again, this is an AA score purchase. And you can keep all these the same, click create, and you're good to go. If you want to trade both directions, both breaking above the 80 and dipping below the 20, then you're going to exit a channel. We'll define the channel by 80 on top, 20 on the bottom. Again, if you're new and you're not trading leverage, you don't have to really pay attention to this part. So this is people trading both directions on leveraged exchanges. So this will, anytime it breaks above the 80, it'll set off an alarm. If it breaks below the 20, it'll set off an alarm. That's exiting a channel. That's how you then click create. So I did 2 of these alerts this morning. I did this alert that I just showed you. And then the other one I do is entering a channel. And that's pretend I created a new alert, and 80 and 20 is the same. So that will be the situation I described earlier. The first situation we looked at when the alert went off, it dipped below the 20 and came back up. So that's often a good long approach, long entry. And then it'll also go off if it breaks above the 80 and dips back down. So entering a channel for dips and retraces, and exiting a channel for dumps and pumps. I hope I went through that thoroughly. Any questions on that? Got something in the chat. Marshall's asking, have you done a video on why you use RTI versus RSI, or one on cumulative delta versus TTM squeeze? I've not done a specific video on that topic. I've talked about it since switching over a couple months ago. I just found that, Frank in our group, who attends this call frequently, he likes this. He turned me on to it, and I sort of practice traded it for a week or so. I was getting better entries, and I like the idea of using it. And it's a lot of people use the RSI. I kind of like the idea of using something different. And the delta versus the squeeze, the delta is measuring the strength of each candle. So I think that's useful information. The TTM squeeze is something I was trading off of, and I switched it over to an auto trading function, so I don't really use it. I probably need to find something else for that additional confirmation. So, and what is TTM anyway? I'm not sure. I should probably know that, but I don't recall. Someone else, does anybody know what that one is?
It's a company name,
Okay.
something trading management or something. It's an indicator that they develop.
Okay. Thank you, Craig. Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, thank you. All right, let's look at something else. So that was the AA score for Didex. We've got a couple other sorts we can use. I've been using social activity from time to time, trying to get fire or a thumbs up on both. We got that on Raven, which is an older coin, and it's actually up today when most coins are down. Axie as well. This is one I like to trade and put some alerts on this morning. So let's look at that one. Okay. Take a quick look at the 5. Not really in a dip sequence at the moment. This is sort of like one right here, where that happened earlier this afternoon. So we're a little late on that one. But if you don't want to deal with indicators and you want to set a price alert, I like the 660 point. There's multiple touches here on the 5-minute chart. So right click, add an alert. And so social activity sort, click that and check your notifications and you're good to go. On the 15-minute, okay, we've got some, when it broke above the 80, that was a really good entry. It would have happened right about here. And, 3%. We love that as day traders. It dips below, breaks above again. This is a little dangerous because we're getting closer to the resistance, but 4%. So those breaks above the 80 were good. Let's break below the 20. It's not so good. Yeah, I might have taken that one, been faked out. So that short would have not gone well. But the longs look good. And at the moment we did dip below this afternoon, and it broke above about 2 hours ago, and it's trending back up. So I do like to look at the recent history of the alerts I'm planning on setting up. So that's why I'm doing this. The longs look good. The shorts are a bit iffy, but I'm going to set both of them up and make sure I have good confirmation. So right click on the RTI. For the breakouts, we're going to exit a channel, 80 on top, 20 on the bottom, once per bar close. And this is social activity sort. Click that. And whatever sound you want, and you're good to go. So that's for exiting a channel. That's for those pumps above the 80 and the crashes below the 20. For the return, we're going to enter a channel. 80-20 is the same, once per bar close. And for these, I usually call these a 1, 2, 3 dip pump. That's this one here, but you can call it what you want. And that's how you do that. So what I'm trying to do is get this break up here. When it dips below the 20 and comes back up, pick up that 1%. When it breaks above the 80, pick that one up. When it breaks below the 80, pick that short up. And then when it breaks above the 80, pick up a long. When it breaks below, pick up a short. And you get the idea. So, looking to make, 4 to 6 trades a day. Doesn't always work out that way, but any questions on Axie? Okay, we'll do one more sort on Altcoin Alert, then we'll head over to iCoinPro. So we've done the AA score, social activity sort. I look at this from time to time, the 1 hour projected. And what I'm looking for is lower, very like ideally a positive number or very low negative number, and then a positive number on the upper, and we don't have that today. This is the closest we have, and we only got 1%, 1.5% on the average. So none of these are looking very good. Another sort I like is the long-term sentiment. Oh, got a chat question. Okay. Ed's trying to keep up. I know this for a newbie to hear all this is a bit trying, but when I'm talking about something specific for new people, I'll point that out. So if you're new, focus on say support and resistance and learning the 1, 2, 3 dip. And when I'm talking about leverage and shorting things, you can ignore that. So okay, so long-term sentiment. This is what people are talking about on Twitter. Elder Impulse Daily is a technical indicator. When these match up, they're usually worthy of further investigation. Actually, we just looked at. I think this is the sort that made me look at this, similar to this one here, social activity and trading activity. See if we have any other matches. We got Rose, the Oasis Network, Arweave, 0x, Mina, CeeLo was a qualifier, but it just switched to neutral on daily on the Elder Impulse Daily. So looks like that one's out. Let's look at something as a spot trade. And we'll look at Arweave. I don't know if this is one that can be traded on leverage or not. It might be. I haven't looked at this one in a while. Is this on my list? It is. So we'll look at it as a spot trade anyway. Okay, on the 5-minute chart. Whoa, FTM. 1, 2, 3 dip pump. Change of plans. Let's bounce over look at this one. This is the one we looked at when we first started. Is that Solana? No, I don't remember. Okay, we've got, it just broke above the 20 on the RTI. You've got halfway decent candle action, but a red candle forming. We're in the green zone. I think this is a pretty good entry. 5-minute chart. We had good support, but now we got 2 red candles on the 5. I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one. Nah, your call, guys. This is a good question. When an AA, it shows an 80 plus, but there's already showing, say, 8% up in price. Is that still a good one to step in? Or did the fireworks already happen? That's a really good question. I do talk about that from time to time. I think 8%'s right in the sweet spot. So head back over to AA. So let's say we do an AA score. You know, like Flux is almost 10%. That might be a little too high. Yeah, these aren't good examples. Let's try Elder Impulse. Yeah, let's say you're interested in Elder Impulse, or I mean the Uniswap, and it's up 3%. That's a good one to get into. Yeah, 3% here on Rune. You can also sort by 24-hour change. I do this sometimes. Like these two, and maybe this one might be, I'm usually looking for like 5 to 8%. So that's, you know, a nice move, but one that's probably not played out. So I'd be more interested in these ranges here. I like Rune. I like Storage. These are ones I trade with some frequency. Uni, I've been trading more than I used to. Axie, I talked about. So, but these are also on leverage exchanges, and they're also available in the third-party software I use. So that influences my decision considerably. If you're a spot trader, you've got, you know, all of these to choose from pretty much, and you're just trying to get something to go up a few percent. So that's why your choice is maybe different than mine, but yeah, double digits or higher I stay away from usually, unless there's 100 of them. It's just a banging day and everything's going up like crazy. So hope that helps. All right, we were looking at we were looking at FTM briefly because an alert went off, but I was not sold on that one. So Arweave just broke above the 20 with some good force. On the 5. Yeah, this one's pumping. And you've got a couple exits. If you want to get in this as a spot trade like now, you may want to consider it. There's resistance here at about 2% at 759. Again, right about here at 774. And then you got the red zone as indicated by the supply and demand indicator. And that's got you with a 5+% profit at around 786. So This one looks pretty good at the moment. It's a little later than I would like. I would have liked to have caught it right about here, you know, and then I would have almost my 1% already. But yeah, Arweave looks pretty good at the moment. All right, thanks, Craig, for the TTM. Check out in the chat. And I've gone through how to do alerts on these already with the enter the. Well, actually, we were looking at this as a spot trade, so let's check that out again. As a spot trader on the 15-minute chart, you want to break above the 80. So that's crossing up on the 80 once per bar close. And this was a long-term sentiment buy. Check your notifications, make sure you've got those in shape, then you're good to go. Now that'll help you for the pumps. If you want to catch those dips and retraces, instead of 20, you're going to put instead of 80, you're going to put 20. Everything else is the same. So you should have separate alerts, one on the 80 for that pump, one on the 20 for the dip and the cross back up on the 20. There's another option with the 50, but I'll discuss that maybe next time. All right, any questions on Arweave or alerts or how I'm using Altcoin Alert data? Okay, I'm going to switch over then to iCoinPro. The home of the 1, 2, 3 dip, and there's two information sources I like to use to find trades, day trades. That's the RSI SPY, which I'm on now, and the Buddy Coin Crawler. The RSI SPY is I'm sorting by the 1 hour RSI. I used to use the RSI before I discovered the RTI, but anything below the 30 on the 1 hour is something usually worth checking out. Unfortunately, I can't get rid of Bitcoin pairs, so those are mixed in. And we don't have many to choose from. This morning, I had a list like almost the whole page. So I think I'm not sure which one I chose. It might have been TRB. At the moment, we've got Tron, which I think moves too slowly for a day trade. I do use this on some swing trading approaches I use. I'll trade Tron, but I mean, it's practically a stable coin. BTS, I wonder if that's something you can short. I read that BTS is being kicked off Binance or being delisted in December. So mental note, I need to check that out, see if that's something I can short. At the moment, I'm not really seeing anything I want to trade. Sometimes I'll bend the 30 rule, look for those in the low 30s. Not really seeing anything I like. So in that situation, if I can also sort this the opposite way and look for those who have pumped above the 80 or the 70. It'll show red if it's gone above the 70, and that's something that's usually due to come back down again. They call it overbought and oversold, but nothing looks that good to me at the moment. So I could look at this Walton chain. Let's go ahead and look at Tron and just understand we have to be a little more patient with this than some others. So Tron is not recovered yet, still drifting down. 10 cents has been where it's holding lately. I'm gonna go a little broader, and yeah, it broke 10 cents. Last week. But trending down ever since it hit the red zone on the 1 hour chart. On the 15, just trending down. I like to look at this at all. I like to see coins go like this. They just go one direction. Okay, this did hit the green zone, trending up a little bit, now dipping down. So this would be the place to get in. This is the 5-minute chart, but not really supported by the cumulative delta. On the 15, it's in the green zone. Not much support by these other indicators, so I don't like this as an entry yet. Might wait till it breaks above the RTI. So our alert here is going to be as a breakout. We're going to exit a channel 80 on the long side, 20 on the short, and yeah, this is a RSI SPY notifications. Yeah, it looks good. So we can click that one on. So it's currently below the 20. So sometimes what'll happen, and this is kind of annoying, is it'll just kind of bounce around the 20. And so you get alerts and they won't be that useful. Can also happen on the 80, just bounce around the 80 and then not really show much. But when it breaks above the 80 with force and below the 20 with force, those can be good entries. Here's a break below 20 with force, some decent candle action. And so that would be a really good entry. And then on the long side here, broke above the 80 right about here. And it was around a little over 10 cents. It almost hit 11. So 10% move. That's good stuff there. So we did the 80-20 on the exiting the channel, on entering the channel when it's coming back after a retrace or after a pump or dump. 80 on the top, 20 on the bottom, once per bar close. And this is RSI SPY, and you click create, you're good to go. Tron being a slower moving coin, you might be in it for a day or two if you're trying to get, 3% or more. Okay, any questions on Tron? Okay, we're about 40 minutes in. We'll look at one more coin on iCoinPro. We struggled to find an RSI SPY qualified coin. Let's go to the Buddy Coin Crawler, see if that helps. And Buddy Coin is iCoinPro slang for the coins you're following that day. I usually choose 6. I choose 2 from AA, Altcoin Alert, 2 from iCoinPro, and then 2 from my just Bybit sort. I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, so I'm sorting from the low to the SMA. Low is a 24-hour low. The SMA is that red line between my Bollinger Bands. I talked about that earlier in the presentation. Looking for 3 or 4% or higher. That shows me there's room to move. And see, is there anything here I usually trade? No, not at all. IMX is the closest thing, and that's a 2.8. That's not very good. I'll look at something I don't usually look at then. Ontology Gas, ONG. That's the one I'm thinking. It's an older project. It shows what I like about iCoinPro is it shows 24-hour volume too. I'm looking for at least 1 million at the bare minimum. 5 million's better, 10 million's ideal or higher. That way, that enough people are trading on your coin to make sure there's somebody on the other side of your order when you enter and exit. We'll look at ONG. Probably treat this like a spot trade. Yeah, it's not going to be on my list. So you can type if you're just looking for something. ONG, USD. The USD if you're looking for something in Coinbase. This is not even in Coinbase, is it? Huh. Thought for sure it would be. That's on MXC, CoinX, Gate, Binance, Crypto.com. That's not enough things to look at. Let's check this one. Whoa. Interesting. On the 5-minute, okay, I've got an error here on my volume. I'm not sure why I'm getting this. I'm not seeing a good entry at the moment on the 5-minute chart. Actually, this is a little messed up. I'm gonna look at this on Binance. There we go. Put the volume back on. All right. Don't need these. So on the 5-minute on ONG, in no man's land, sitting on the SMA line, right in between the red and the green. Price alert, I like it here at 0.3886, right at the top of the green zone. And there's been a few touches in that area. Might even go a little higher at 39 cents. Somewhere between 38 and 39 cents would be a good price alert. On our 15-minute chart indicators, it's not right. I want to reset the chart view. If you mess up a chart, if you do this and do that and they're off kilter, you can just right click, reset chart view, and it'll make it work. Okay, same spot right in the middle, no man's land. So let's look at this as a spot trade. I want this to break above the 80 on this alert. Crossing up on the 80 on the RTI, once per bar close. I'll keep it open until I turn it off. And this is the Buddy coin crawler for my information source. And you can change these as you see fit. So that's my break above the 80 alert, my break above the 20, which means it's dipped below and it's coming back. Add an alert, crossing up on the 20, once per bar close. And I probably go with 1, 2, 3 dip pump on that one. I usually change the sound, chirpy, something like that. And there you go. Any questions on ONG? All right. One more thing is I've done a video before on how I set up my trading view charts. It's been old. That's an older one, probably a couple of years ago. But you can create a list like this, and then you can sort this list. So this is my Bybit Binance list, and I told you I had the two other sorts. The other sort I use besides the ones I just showed you, and I sort by the change percent. So if I'm looking for something that's dumping throughout the day, I do that, and you see how they're sorted from higher to lower. I'm looking for something that's pumping, and I got the highest one on top. And these are all coins I trade: Uni, Axie, Sushi, Rune, Storage. These are some of my favorites to trade. So, and then if you want to go back to alphabetized, that click on that symbol and it'll put you back. Okay, any questions on that? If you can't find that video about my trading view setup, email me and I'll track it down for you. I probably due to update my overall video. It's nearly 2 years old, but I'm waiting for the availability of my third-party software, and I'm going to incorporate that into such a thing. So that could be probably January, February, March before I do that. All right. Any questions about anything we've talked about? Any coins you want to look at? Okay, well, thank you all for attending. I'll go ahead and wrap it up here. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for doing that. Hope to see you live on Friday. check out the pinned comment or check out the information in the pinned comment. They help us support the channel. For the rest of you, happy trading, and we will see you next time. Bye.